Welcome to the Pre-Writing and Reading Skills engagement session on supporting and developing these skills at home and school. By the end of this session, you will develop an understanding of what pre-writing is and reading in FS1. You will be aware of the development skills we should focus on for our children at their current age and stage within pre-writing and reading. And you will gain ideas of activities and resources that you can use with your child at home in a fun and engaging way. We will begin by sharing our philosophy of FS1 learning at WSO. We truly believe that happiness is at the core of everything that we can do for your children. A child cannot learn if they don't feel happy, safe and secure. And this is our first priority over everything we do. The first essential for the child's development is concentration, but the child who concentrates is immensely happy. At WSO, we focus on three main things in terms of learning in the early years. Engagement. How interested and motivated is a child for the task? Readiness levels. Is the child ready to try this task? Is it relevant? And learning style. We all learn in different ways and different styles, and it's up to us as teachers to recognise and identify each individual child as a learner. We also always have to remember that children learn and develop at their very own pace, and this pace may change through the course of their childhood and be different across different kinds of skill sets. Childhood is not a race to see how quickly a child can read, write and count. It's a small window of time to learn and develop at the pace which is right for each individual child. At WSO, we follow the early years foundation stage British curriculum across FS1 and FS2. The curriculum is divided into 7 learning areas, and we have the prime areas and the specific areas. The 3 prime areas are communication and language, physical development, and personal, social and emotional development. The specific areas include literacy, mathematics, understanding the world, expressive arts and design. In FS1, we really focus on developing these prime areas because we believe without security in these prime areas, you cannot have full access to the specific areas. Pre-writing, writing and reading skills in FS1 are related directly to literacy, communication and language, and physical development. Pre-writing skills are the fundamental skills children need to develop before they are able to write. These skills contribute to the child's ability to hold and use a pencil and the ability to draw, write, copy and colour. Before even thinking of learning to write, a child needs to be able to do all these things. Use scissors, squish Play-Doh, create their own art, squeeze pipettes, trace with their fingers, sew, thread and squeeze. Children should always be experimenting making marks. Some will be able to write and some will just scribble, but it's all about letting them represent their own ideas in their own way. And what we always remember is look at the difference between a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old hand. At 3 years old, children's hands are still developing and not fully formed. The best thing we can do is give children activities where they can exercise their hand muscles and help them grow and develop in the right way. Obviously, play supports any kind of hand development, and we encourage play all the time wherever a child may be. When the children are physically ready to write, there will no need to rush. Just allow them to enjoy making marks. And what is really important is allowing children to explore mark making in different ways, using shaving foam, different kinds of tools such as sprays, rollers, paintbrushes, using toys to make marks, using natural materials, But perhaps one of the best and easiest is just getting children access to paper, pens, and pencils. There are 3 stages of writing, and you will be able to identify where your child is at this moment. We have scribble, which can be between 15 months to 2.5 to 3 or even 4 years. In this stage, children will naturally make marks upon paper, experimenting with touch, texture, and sensation of the marker. From 2.5 years to 3.5, the children start to make figures and name them. Early illustrations of people frequently appear, although they may not be recognisable to others, but recognisable to that child. Then we have recognisable drawings. In this stage, children will constantly draw and name items that are recognisable to most people. Once again, this is just a guide, and your child could be at any stage at any time. Pre-writing is all centred around fine motor skills. Fine motor skills involve the use of the small muscles that control the hand, fingers, and thumb. They help children perform important tasks like feeding themselves, grasping toys, and everyday tasks such as zipping clothes. The ability to complete self-care and everyday tasks helps a child's self-esteem and confidence to increase. It is important to start working with children building their fine motor skills early on. Fine motor skills will develop and improve as they move through childhood. You just need to keep practicing. Research even suggests that fine motor skills are so important that they are connected to how a child learns to read, complete math problems, and other higher level cognitive thinking. These are some activities that you can practice at home. Perhaps one of the best ways to develop fine motor skills is the simple task of Play-Doh. Manipulating Play-Doh is the best way for children to develop the muscles in their hands. Make some Play-Doh and let the children follow the songs and actions at our lovely dough disco, which the children always find so fun and engaging. You can also take part in songs and videos that exercise children's hand and strength and coordination. Pre-reading. These skills are the foundation to which learning to read occurs. Phonological awareness, letter knowledge, beginning writing and oral language. Many of these skills are learnt formally during the course of normal childhood, at home and in the school environment. By talking and reading with your child, you'll be doing a great deal to help these essential skills develop. There is a lot a child must learn before she is ready to start to read. Being able to recognise letters does not necessarily mean that children are ready to read. First, they need to understand that letters are symbols, that each symbol represents a sound, that sounds can be combined to make words and words to make sentences, and that sentences have meaning. At school in FS1, we begin this journey on talking about how we can hear different sounds through different ways. Then they slowly progress to begin to understand that letters and sounds work together to make words. At home, the main pre-reading skill you can work on with your child is focusing on their communication and language. Communication and language development is about more than talking. It means all the different ways a child understands and communicates, only part of which are spoken words. Babies begin communicating by crying, and in a few months start babbling and imitating sounds. So much of a young child's learning depends on having the ability to communicate with others, to begin to understand their world, to express their wishes, and to ask important questions about why. In the EYFS curriculum, there are 3 parts to communication and language. Listening and attention, which comes first because children need to pay attention to how people are communicating in order to learn to do it themselves, and they need to listen carefully to all the sounds and rhythms that make up words and sentences. Understanding. Understanding is a bridge to talking, as children begin to make sense of the body language and all the words from people around them. Speaking. Expressing their own meaning to people around them with body language and words, with signs for children with speaking difficulties. What we would recommend is to focus on vocabulary. Vocabulary means knowing and using words. It's your child's store of words and provides the building blocks to language development. Having a large vocabulary at age 2 has been linked to stronger performances on measures of maths, reading and behaviour at age 5. Always use full, complete sentences and don't shy away from words you don't think your child will understand. They learn the meaning of words by hearing them in context. Whenever you go places, point out new words and talk about what you can see. Harvard University researchers have found that good dinner conversation is one of the best ways to help children learn new vocabulary. So always try and have these conversations at breakfast, lunch or dinner. Encourage language development by asking your child to tell you a story. Write the story down and then have him or her draw pictures to go with the words. Involve your child in conversations as much as possible. This could be simple as asking, "What do you think about that?" Focus on body language and tone as well as words so you can really understand what your child is trying to express. Try and build a love for reading for your child. Make reading fun. Focus on subjects that capture the imagination. The more time you spend reading to your child, the more she will love to read. Increase attention span by limiting TV, iPad and video games that don't require much thought, and instead look at a variety of books or pictures. Encourage reading by having the child act out your favourite stories as they are reading. If you read just one book a day to your child, they will have read 1,825 books by their 5th birthday. There are some wonderful picture books out there, and you can spend so much valuable and precious time looking at them together. A child who reads will be an adult who thinks. Children fall in love with books because of the memories created when they snuggle up and read with someone they love. Create a reading den at home or a special time of the day where your child can read to you, their siblings, or even their teddies. At school, we use something called wordless books, a book that tells a story simply through pictures. They are a tool for literacy development as they engage children, regardless of reading level, in prediction, critical thinking, meaning-making and storytelling. Remember that there are no right or wrong answers to read a wordless book. One of the wonderful benefits of using wordless books is how each child creates their own story and can lead to so many different types of conversations. A picture can tell 1,000 words, and this is certainly true when you sit down with your child and just look at one picture. The examples below show that you can use who, what, where, how, when and why questions about all the different things that are happening in the picture. Children often learn best by observing and copying adult behaviour, so parents should try to model good speech and language skills wherever possible. Make eye contact, speak clearly and calmly, use appropriate language, repeat or model what the child has said, repeat sentences back, describing and commenting on what is happening and what the children are doing as they are doing it. Listening carefully when children are talking and being patient so they have plenty of time to respond. Use gesture, tone of voice and facial expressions, and use effective questioning. But be careful not to over-question or ask closed questions with only one answer. So in summary, children learn best by observing and copying adult behaviour. So parents and teachers should try to model good speech and language skills wherever possible. Children need to be secure in pre-writing skills before they begin to start writing formally. The best thing we can do is give them activities where they can exercise their hand muscles and develop fine motor skills. Remember, there's no need to rush children into writing. Let them enjoy experimenting, making marks with different materials in different ways, and give them that time to let their hands grow. Developing communication and language skills and vocabulary is key in getting children ready to read. And there are so many different tasks you can do. Just simple talking is one of them, focusing on vocabulary and reading books. Wordless books and pictures open up so much opportunity for developing communication, language skills and vocabulary. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this presentation gave you some ideas and an understanding of things you can do at home to develop your child's pre-writing and reading skills. If you have any questions, please contact myself, Elizabeth McLennan, FS1 Head of Year, Vanessa Matthews, FS1D Teacher, or Divya Egbert, also FS1 Teacher. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate your time.